We are going to map now. We are starting again, of course, at Lijiang Tower.
Yep. And it looks like Control Center is first. We might be seeing some brawl to start off the match.
And unsurprisingly, we see a Junkrat on both teams, as I mentioned in the last game. Junkrat is extremely powerful on this map because of the tight corridors. He can get huge value if played correctly.
Yeah, it's one of those like you don't even have to aim, you just have to think a general direction and then you get kills. A Proto Paladins jump change off the junk, it seems like. So does
They may
Void.
just be switching the Symmetra just to TP out, but we will see soon. No, we have the Junkrat again
Oh.
on Void, Whirlwind playing. Interesting, the Rhine versus Ram matchup. We'll see how that goes. Both teams get around about the same time, but Proto Paladins are taking a lot of damage and go low, and then Lucio goes down. That's a huge pick for Void and gives them early, strong control, and they're able to just push really strongly, and Proto Paladins have no choice but to back off, and then Whirlwind finds the pick on Junkrat, and that's really solid from Void.
Yeah, I think early game in Brawl versus Brawl, especially on this map, Ramatra is stronger, but as soon as ultimates come online, Ryan gets more value.
Rhine undoubtedly has the stronger ultimate, but the neutral fight almost certainly goes to Ram.
Absolutely. Ooh.
That's a massive pick there. Lucio for Proto Paladins going down, and again, Void looking exceptionally strong and very disciplined again, which is a theme we've been seeing a lot today, I feel, in the successful teams.
Yeah, teams that have played together for a while are usually very good at like knowing what the other players on the team are doing, which is so important in Overwatch. Like having an understanding of what your team is intending to do is a really like that can beat like more mechanically strong teams.
We still don't have any ultimates on the board yet. Window for Void will come up very soon, and again, just really solid from Void. It's just this is really difficult for Proto Paladins. They just don't have an answer for this.
Yeah, they're working in with Rhine Shield up, and then they just get blasted with Junkrat mines, and they're unable to do much.
I feel that if Proto Paladins are going to make progress here, they need to change up their playstyle and not just walk down main every time.
Yeah, either that or they have to be very quick on their rotations. Oh, we have a tire coming in.
Teal does pop window there, doesn't find an awful lot of value. Whirlwind with the tire there, with another huge pick, and although Void's back does go down, that's two picks now in favor of Proto Paladins. They may be able to convert this, but the rest of the team are awfully low, and they just not. That's really solid from Void's Ram.
It's actually surprising that they kept their buff alive until the very end, but they still lost the sustained battle.
They just weren't able to convert those two picks to anything meaningful because their tank was just too low to be able to push in.
Yeah.
And Void take that map.
Yeah. I think Proto Paladins, and especially the Lucio, needs to think about a bit more about their rotations. Because their Lucio died first, I think, in every fight.
And we are now on to Gardens, which, as we mentioned previously, very much favors dive compositions. We'll most likely see Ball and Monkey, I would think.
Yeah, we're seeing Echo Monkey dive with the Sombra on Proto Paladin side, which I think could be really strong here, especially seeing as Void looks to be opting for the ball.
That will be an interesting matchup.
Sombra is a very good counter to ball.
Did the bench just fall off the map there?
Yeah, it seems that way.
It's really unfortunate.
Unfortunate, and sadly not that uncommon. I've seen a lot of ventures do that because they're not like considering venture is so new. A lot of people are not used to their movement abilities and how easy it is to fall off the map.
Proto Paladins looking an awful lot better now. Maybe they just needed to warm up and find their footing.
Absolutely, and those are some good hacks, some good viruses, and just 2 picks to start out the fight.
I feel it's going to be very difficult for Void to play the ball into the Sombra here. Oh, that said, Solka does go down, which is really unfortunate, and Void will be able to convert that to a flip of the point quite easily.
Yeah, with their Cassidy dying early in that fight, they didn't have enough consistent damage to make use of those hacks after the first 2 picks.
I feel that Solka's just got to be very careful and just got to prioritize those hacks and not waste the hack, because if they use it and they need it, then that's not going to work out very well.
Yeah, that's also you have 2 options when you play someone like this. You can either play as part of the dive, or you have to wait for the ball to go into your backline and hack the ball and then kill him.
Void coming back really strongly there with a fantastic pulse and converting it pick after pick, and yeah, they're going to hold that quite easily.
Yeah, it looks very one-sided right now, even with the hard counter of the Sombra.
I think Void just needed to feel it out a little bit and adapt their playstyle a little bit and to playing into the Sombra.
Yeah, but you also see here, like, ball initiating this early, it makes it so that Proto Paladins can't set up their dive properly. And it kind of disrupts.
With a really nice flick there, finding 2 targets. That's really very nice. And again, this is looking very bad for Paladin.
Yeah, and they're going into overtime, so you have to commit to the primal here. They do get a pick from it, so that's big.
Fighting still going on point. It is still looking very, very, very good for Void. Even if they lose this team fight, they just need to win one, basically. And they take the entire Lijiang map.
Yeah, with the beat, I think they might be able to do it, even if the EMP comes in.
It's
EMP...
coming in both sides, but Ball finding a lot of picks at the end there, and that goes cleanly to Void.
Yeah. I think EMPing after beat is one of those, because in Overwatch 1, that removed beat. In Overwatch 2, it doesn't. That's a bit of an unlucky... bit of banter in the big shot. Yeah.
That's a really nice use of Ram's shift there, which just shows how Ram's playstyle works. And he's very much an opportunist and goes in when there's an opportunity and rather sets the pace of the fight.
Yeah, with the 2 phases of Reinhardt or of Ramatra, that was a very good explanation of it. Like, you have the poke phase with his don't remember what the basic form is called. And then you have the Nemesis form for when the enemy is up close and you can just run down mid and punch.
Well, that was looking extremely strong for Void. They looked very disciplined, they looked very collected, and they knew exactly what they were doing, basically. Absolutely.
You can see the synergy and, like, the team play of Void. It looks to be on a different level from what Proto Paladins has done on first map.
I feel that synergy, that's such an important word, really, when you're playing in a tournament or scrimming. It's playing Overwatch solo queue ranked is a very different experience to playing in the team. You could be a really gifted player mechanically and climb very high in ranked, but you might not be that good in scrimmed or tournament environments, because it's all about the synergy. It's about people getting used to the way they play with each other, their understanding of how the comp works, and it all comes down to practice at the end of the day.
And it's also why I've always said that, like, scrimming on an amateur level is the best way of playing Overwatch, unless you're a pro, of course. But it's mostly because you have that communication aspect of it that you don't get in ranked, because you have people that just, if you try to comment anything, they just mute. Or they leave voice chat and that kind of stuff.
A friend of mine posted a really fascinating poll on Reddit not that long ago, and asking people, do they still join voice in Overwatch or not? And the overwhelming response was something like 60% said they just don't join voice anymore.
Yeah, and I'm not surprised, because a lot of comp voice is either someone flaming someone else, which is, like, there was an interesting statistic posted by Blizzard and the Overwatch development team about this, but I think it was like your chances of losing a match if you flame a teammate increases by like 80%.
That does sound about right.
Yeah, and people still do it for some reason.
Yeah, it's very self-defeating and very self-sabotaging. When I've coached people on an individual level, one of the first things I teach them is to just not tilt, because it does nothing for you, it does nothing for your team.
Yeah, I basically do the same, but what I say is like if you see yourself losing, you need to start thinking about what can you do to win the map and not what is my team doing wrong. Like how can I
Absolutely.
enable my team to play better instead of like, oh, my tank is throwing blah blah blah. Are we going into Eichenwald again?
We are going back to the lobby, and it is indeed Eichenwald again. It will be interesting to see compared to the last match just how the two teams approach, especially the defense on the first, because I feel first point is where it's the largest number of comps that are actually viable.
Absolutely. It seems like Void is going for a brawl with a Pharah.
It is indeed an interesting choice, but we are seeing that a lot at the moment where Farah, if she's played, is not with a Mercy as you would have seen traditionally in the past.
And I think that's because of the rework and the heightened mobility that Pharah has now with the right click dash. It is very underrated, in my opinion.
Paladins look like they're setting up for some kind of brawl comp as well. Look very traditional brawl with a Reaper, which is an interesting choice.
Yeah, I think they're expecting a dive defense here. I would not be surprised if Reaper goes back to spawn and swaps, but it doesn't look like he's doing that.
Proto Paladins playing extremely slow there. They've actually switched to the Mauga, so they play an extremely close range comp.
Yeah, I feel like Mauga's a bit desperate. Ooh, that's a huge kill.
Farah does go down by Sulka. That's a huge kill for Proto Paladins, but Void respond with 2 picks of their own, completely nullifying the first pick and leaving Paladins no choice but just reset.
Yep, and this is where the synergy again comes in, because Mauga goes in deep and they get a kill out of it, but with the team not being quick enough to follow up, they just separate and a easy prey for Void.
Void looking really strong again. They're confident in their positioning. Their timing is just really solid. They're catching Paladins in the middle of their rotation when they're weakest as well, which is really advantageous for them.
They do get a kill out of it though.
Indeed, Sulka wins the Cassidy duel there. Paladins now getting 2 picks as Whirlwind goes down. That will be a cap for Paladins now.
Yeah. That's actually kind of interesting because the Reaper TP'd onto point, and I think that split Void off in a weird way.
I don't think Void were expecting that play.
Absolutely not. I think they expected them to just rush down mid because the TP came in, and then they got split up by that, and Proto Paladins capitalized on it really well.
Certainly, when you're playing at this level, learning to adapt and doing something different and not doing the same thing over and over is essential in a coordinated environment like this.
Absolutely, and there's a lot of mind games going into this as well when it comes to like counter swapping and like from the old days. And it looks like Proto Paladins are winning another one there. Oh no!
Huge barrage from Whirlwind, finds 3 in total, but then goes down. But that's a reasonable exchange. I think they'll be quite happy with that.
Absolutely, and it stalls Proto Paladins from pushing the card further.
I feel with Farah's barrage, if you find 2 and die, then I think most Farah players will be quite happy with that.
Yeah, I think a lot of Pharah players will be happy even if they get 1 kill. Barrage is it's so hard to get value from that any kill is kind of good.
Void deciding to switch to the Mauga, so we're now looking at the Mauga mirror, but Void are definitely in a better position at the top of the castle there. Whirlwind finds a massive pick on Teal there. That's really big.
Yeah, Void controlling high ground with double hit scan is... yeah, there's no way for Proto Paladins to get up there and deal with that.
The Proto Paladins are attempting the play of just pushing the cart underneath, but with what Void are playing, that's just not going to be very effective.
Absolutely. I think like if Proto Paladins are trying to like push the cart little by little by little by doing that, it's a very inefficient way of doing it. I think they have to go on high ground and clear it.
I would really like to see Paladins come up the stairs on the left of Castle and just push, which is exactly what they're doing right now. And they do find 2 picks, 3 picks even. So Proto Paladins did the correct thing there, just pushed Void off the high ground, and it was extremely effective.
And it was a bit surprising because Void got an early pick on Solka there.
Yeah, that just goes to show the power of playing fast when you're playing a brawl comp.
Absolutely, and it's also the downside of playing double hit scan is that if Proto Paladins getting close, then it's kind of hard to do anything.
And perhaps a slightly questionable cage by Void there. It doesn't really find a lot of value, but Whirlwind with the Bob, and then Teal goes down from a boop and get Void hold that quite nicely.
Yeah, that was a good team fight. And now we see another swap by Void here, going into the Doomfist.
Doomfist is a pick that we don't see an awful lot actually in tournaments. It'd be interesting to see how this plays out.
Yeah, Doomfist of course very good at disrupting enemy positioning, but also doing 1v1s.
It's an extremely strong point for an Ashe player, just being able to spam down there, hit the headshots, no problem.
Yeah, now they have to be careful with the rotation because of the Lucio. They're going up the back high ground.
Yeah, they're going up the back high ground there, maybe to stage and regroup. That's a massive boop there, really nice.
Yeah.
Well, I kind of feel that TPing like that is pre-coordinating what you're going to do. It's not really very helpful.
Yeah, and now we see the value of Doomfist coming in. It's so annoying. It's so annoying when you rotate on a brawl comp and then you get punched and then you get locked out for a second.
It'll be very interesting to see how Paladins adapt to the fact that Void are now playing the Doom, to see if they still take the same playstyle or if they play a bit more grouped together in order to reduce the value.
Yeah, I think the only change they did was they swapped from Kasa to the Ashe here.
But they need to be very careful about letting Doom catch them from behind like that.
Yeah, and
Whirlwind finding 2 picks though, that's absolutely massive, and that is going to hold it again for Void.
Yeah. And I think it's one of the strengths of Doomfist here, just when Proto Paladins are rotating through, he's disrupting their rotation and splitting people off, so that when they go in, they're not going in together.
Yeah, they're playing really quite split here, letting the Doomfist find value and separate them, as you say, and then Whirlwind on the Ashe is able to just follow up with some really nice headshots.
Yeah, and I think that last one, they got a bit blinded by rotating through Castle and then forgot that the point moves backwards when it's not contested for a while. That's a bit unlucky there.
Again, looking very strong for Void. What do you feel Proto Paladins need to do here to stand a chance of winning?
It is a bit difficult to say, but I don't think Maga is the pick. Like, picking Maga in today's like meta and patch is a bit of like desperation, thinking that, oh, in the previous patches we just pick Maga and we win. But it's not how it works anymore. Like, Maga he's strong, but he's not unbeatable anymore. And I think Void managed to take advantage of that.
Well, Proto Paladins seem to be lining up some hybrid poke brawl comp with a Reaper and Sigma. I'm not sure if they'll stay on the Reaper. I'll be interested if they are, because that will be a little unorthodox.
Yeah, I don't understand the Reaper pick at all here. Because if you play Reaper, you would like to have a Lucio to get you in, or if you go in with a TP or Wraith, like to get out. Like, Reaper with speed boost is so strong.
Yeah, I haven't really seen the Reaper bring value. I have to agree with you.
Yeah, and especially in a poke composition, it's just very weird.
There's just going to be no support for the Reaper. He's going to be having to play for himself, which is less than optimal.
I think it would work if Void was playing the meta comp, because then Monkey goes in and then you counter the Reaper, but they are getting picks though.
Proto Paladins do find 2 very convincing picks and able to hold on from that team fight. Void have switched to Zarya and Venture, along with an Ana, which is certainly an interesting comp. I can see the value of it against this Sigma, but the problem they will have is closing the distance.
Yeah, but I think what they will do is play Venture a bit like Doomfist in Overwatch 1. The Venture goes in and then you bubble Venture on the way out.
They're just poking at the moment, trying to find some damage. There's a nice dynamite there from Sulker. Does find Whirlwind, and Paladins are holding this a little bit better than I was expecting. That said, the Reaper does go down, I feel, after not really finding all that much value. Sulker does take out the Ana for Paladins, though, which helps them. Unfortunately, picks coming in on both sides, though.
Yes, Hulka is having had a really good position the entire fight, but it looks like Void, by sheer resilience, actually managed to win this.
That said, Paladins, they're still in the game. Picks are now coming in on the side of Paladins, and Teal there, and the Reaper together, finding the pick on the Ana, and I thought that was going to go to Void, I really did.
Yeah, it very much looked like that. They were just going in one by one and just keeping the fight going, but then respawns come from Proto Paladins and they managed to turn it around.
We have some big ultimates on both sides. We have Trans for Paladins, which will significantly help them with sustain. They have Blossom. It'll be interesting to see how they use that. On the other side, though, they are coming up to Venture, Ult, and Grab, which is a massive combo, and they better start planning how they will deal with that.
Yeah, I think they have to use Transcendence for that. But even without ultimate, they use Nano, but we just managed to punch through.
Void is now sitting on 4 ultimates, which is really quite a bit better than the ult economy of Paladins. They only really have Blossom and Trans, and there's not really much they can do with that on its own.
Yeah. Proto Paladins are a bit unsure as well. They swapped to the D.Va, and then I think they realized, oh yeah, they have a Zarya. So they swapped off the D.Va and then went on to Sigma.
So I think Paladins did actually hold that point much better than I was expecting. They just need to be really careful here, and that's not really going to get much value from that grab, I feel.
Now that shield was really good in stopping the grab or hitting the ground and then sucking them down. Them being in the air there.
2 picks.
Yeah, that was really good tank play.
Now the Reaper actually starting to show a bit more value than before. I feel that's partly because of the map geometry of the point they're playing now.
Yeah, it's also on this part of the map when the enemy is playing Brawl into a poke. It kind of helps to slow down their rotations. So here it actually has a
change to the Rhine. Be interesting to see how they're going to play that. They'll probably want to push this corridor here and go straight up onto the high ground.
Yeah, I would expect them to play more aggressive with the Rhine here compared to what they did before.
Land comes out to try and save Proto Paladins. Sigma picks coming in nicely though on the side of Paladins. It's still quite solid.
Absolutely, that was a bit of a scrappy fight. But
that's the direction Void will want to take it. They'll want to go up that corridor and take control of the high ground when they're playing such a classic brawl over the Rhine.
Yeah, but they also have a lot of sustain, and getting the Reaper there, that's huge.
Rhine does find 2 picks. The tank for Paladins goes down. Teal responding though, taking out Rhine. So not as clean as I feel Void would have liked. And picks now coming in again on the side of Paladins. Paladins are actually holding this quite effectively now.
Yeah, but I think Void is happy with that fight because they got both support ults out.
Paladins still have Flux to play with. Void will be coming up on Shatter very soon, High Noon, and potentially Window before that much longer, because that ultimate comes up very quick.
Absolutely. Ooh, that's a good Flux.
That's a really good flux, using it exactly where you want to when they're grouped up and can't escape. Picks again coming in on the side of Paladins. Paladins still holding this very nicely. Void, perhaps they're playing to build ults and they're not wanting to commit.
Yeah, Paladins are doing a really good job here at denying rotations from Void. And if they keep this up, because this is going into last fight territory, if they can survive the Shatter, I think they got this map.
No, this is actually quite impressive from Paladins, the way they're holding. Lamp does come out to keep their sig up, and that's a massive fire strike. 2, 3 go down on the side of Paladins, and Void are going to win that team fight.
Yeah. But now Void has some really strong ultimates in the bank. Both High Noon and Window, which you can combine to create a lot of space or get a quick kill if you're lucky. And this
Not much
Shatter is
time
gonna
left.
be... Yeah, this is last fight.
I'm expecting
Ooh.
a big shatter here. Oh, that's massive. The High Noon finding Teal. Whirlwind finds another pick. That's a big shatter, and Void will take that now.
Yeah, this seems like a GG. I don't think anyone can touch.
Praise are there for Paladins, trying to look for a contest, but to no avail. Void takes the match 2-0.
Yeah. And in that last fight, it was basically exactly as I said. They use Window with the High Noon. They get an early pick on the enemy Baptiste. And then Sustain is gone. They're playing Brawl versus Brawl. There's nothing but the Paladins can do there.
I feel Paladins did definitely play the defense a lot cleaner than their attack phase.
Absolutely, that was close. But I think it being close, it made it come down to ult economy, and we just had better ultimates.
I think Void, they kind of stalled a bit on their push of the second point towards Castle.
Yeah, a little bit. They were a bit unsure a couple of times, but I think by taking that time and making sure that the entire team does the same thing, especially considering how many times Paladins manage to delay them and split them off on rotation, I think that was a good call.
So that's 4 matches we've had today, 4 results. Some really exciting games, I feel. Some really interesting, very... I think the standard, especially these days, is really quite high.
Absolutely, there's some good Overwatch, and there's teams that are trying, not just forcing meta comps. It seems like they're trying different things, and it makes for a more fun Overwatch to watch, to be honest.
So, 4 results now. Do we have a table with the results to have a look at?
We do.
So, of course, Cottage Gnomes versus... I'm sorry, what was your team again?
Lupine.
Lupine. That was an interesting match. That was also very close. Of course, I was playing as part of that. I enjoyed myself. That was a fun match.
Yeah, it was a fun match to watch, and it's always fun to see my players play. And it's also a fun fight. It was their first ever tournament match win, so that was fun. So they were super hyped.
The first match was Minji's versus VA Mystic Coven, which Minji's took away really quite convincingly. Of course, the previous match that we just watched was Harbingers versus a Void list, with Harbingers taking that away 2-0, and Void versus Proto Paladins, which we just saw, Void take 2-0. So,
Yeah.
other than the Cottage Gnomes versus Lupine match, they're all 2-0s.
Yeah, I missed the Minji's Mystic Oven match, so I don't know what that looked like. But for the two matches that we did commentary on today, it looks like the more experienced and synergized teams were playing kind of like expected, a lot better.
Yeah, absolutely. There's no substitute for experience and practice in a tournament setting.
Absolutely. But it also opens up for some later surprises when the synergy builds a bit more with the teams that are doing a bit worse in the beginning. They can just suddenly find their synergy and do surprisingly well towards the later stages of a tournament.
As I said previously, this is the first day of the Kasa World Tour. We have 4 more excellent matches for you tomorrow, which will start at 3 p.m. CEST. The first match of the day will be Minjis versus Cottage Gnomes. You will have myself and Ebroth casting the second 2 games. We really hope to see you tomorrow. We hope you had an excellent Saturday wherever you are, that the weather was fine, and good night.
Good night.